Hi friend, this is Ryan Hicks at TaughtToProfit.com, and today I want to talk to you about something I saw driving. There was a truck in front of me. I'm going to put the picture up here, and it had a big sticker and the big decal on the back of the window that said locally hated. And at first, because it was in cursive, I thought, well, maybe it's not hated. Maybe it kind of looks a little bit. What else could it mean? And I started looking it up, and I saw on Amazon there's all kinds of stickers saying locally hated. And I just really got to think about, this is what so many people do in their lives. They will say they want a different result. They say they want things to be better, and this is a more obvious example of it, but this is what they're broadcasting to the world. They're broadcasting to their friends, to their family, to their neighbors. They're broadcasting hate. I'm locally hated, as if that's some sort of good thing, something to be proud of, something to spend money on, to advertise to the world. I'm locally hated. That's insane. But this is the way many people act, and that's just a more blatant way of doing it. But many people do this in their daily life each and every day. They'll talk about, I knew one person that talked about how they always spoke their mind and they act like this is some big good thing. But what it really boiled down to was they had no self-control. They felt like their opinion was so important they had to subject everyone to it. And they just thought, well, people just don't like me because I speak my mind. No, it's because you don't have self-control. It's because you say nasty and hateful things, and they're not the problem, you are. You get bad responses from people because you have done things to deserve the bad responses. Why would you want to be locally hated? Why, if you were locally hated, why wouldn't you do everything in your power to change that? But this is the problem. Many people are going through life. They claim they want different results, but what they're putting out there is getting the results that they're getting. And I said this many times, but really in life, what you are getting in life is a reflection of what you are, of who you are. Now, I want to be very clear. I'm not saying anyone deserves hate, but when you put hate out there, you're earning it, basically. Maybe earning is a better way of wording it than saying deserving. I don't think anyone really deserves hate, but you're earning it. You're reaping what you've sown. And so this kind of mentality that many people have, that, well, I don't have any control over my life, it's just my circumstances, I don't have any, these people do this and that to me. And do you think a person who's advertising they're locally hated, for example, is a good neighbor, is doing the right things to their fellow person, is looking for ways to do good, is looking for opportunities for the best to happen in their lives? It's extremely unlikely. Because the kind of people that do those things would never, ever in their entire lives consider putting a decal saying that they're locally hated on the back of their vehicles. It doesn't even make any sense. And I mentioned in my last video about Proverbs 18:21, death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. But I want you to ask yourself today, and do the 5 whys, the question where you ask yourself why 5 times. If you're not getting the results you want, ask yourself why. For example, if you don't have reliable transportation, well, ask yourself why. And if your first answer is, well, I don't have a job that can afford a better vehicle, well, ask yourself why. And go through that 5 times of asking yourself why. And each answer you give to the question, ask why to that answer. So you can really try to narrow down, and go as many whys as you have to, but you can really try to narrow down that end result of why is that happening for you in your life. Because if you say, well, my job doesn't pay enough, well, why is that? Well, because I'm not educated. Well, why is that? And see, the end thing is to get to what is the real belief that is the cause of this end result. Because too often people are looking for this surface level reasoning for why things are, instead of getting down to the root of the issue. No one looks at a tree and thinks, Well, that tree exists because of those leaves on it. No, they know there was a seed at one point planted that tree came from. The end result is a big tree with leaves on it, but the cause of that tree was that seed. And of course, water and everything else that worked to make that tree grow and become what it is. But the cause of your circumstances, the cause of your life, is from a seed. What you've sown, you're reaping. Now, I'm not saying you deserve what is going on in your life, but you may have done things to have earned it. And there is a difference there. Because I don't think anyone deserves to be poor, to be sick, to be miserable and unhappy. But if you're not going to make any changes in your life, you're going to keep getting the results you have. So you look at your life right now and everything's perfect and great, then awesome. You don't have to change anything. You're doing everything right. You're sowing the right seeds. You've got the right results. You're reaping the right harvest. Everything is awesome. But if you don't have everything perfectly lined up, and you don't have everything good, and everything showing forth the abundance and the blessing of God in your life, His favor surrounding you, encompassing you as with a shield, everywhere you go, things are working out for your good and blessing, and the glory of God is shining upon you every day, then you need to make some changes. And I keep mentioning my Affirmations book, but one of the reasons why is because it is so important, and I want to get into many people's hands as possible. I want you to be blessed by this. I want you to take this, use it, and get the results that you need, and really make the changes that you want to make. And you're not going to get that if you keep doing the things you've already been doing. And here's one of the things I mentioned in that book, 600 Wealth, Prosperity, and Abundance Affirmations. One of the things I mention is that you have these things in your subconscious programming that you don't even recognize that are underlying all of your decisions. Even when you make a perceived, rational, logical decision, the basis for it is those underlying beliefs you have. And if the underlying beliefs are that, for example, like I mentioned, you're locally hated, or you're poor, or you don't have enough money, you're not educated enough, whatever it may be, those underlying beliefs are the basis upon which you then make a decision that you think's logical. And it may be completely illogical because it is a defeated, limited decision you're making based on a concept of yourself that you are limited, that God doesn't want to bless you, that God doesn't want you rich, that God wants you to be poor to teach you some lesson, or sick to teach you some lesson, or any of these kind of things that people create as excuses for why things aren't going the way they want to go, and as a way to blame God for why things are going the way they are. You can change all that, but you have to be the person to make the decision. You have to be the one to decide, you know what, I'm going to make some changes. I'm going to change the way I think. I'm going to change the way I speak. I'm going to renew my mind and become the person that is able to receive the blessings of God in abundance in my life. So then I can know with reality what Proverbs 10:22 says, which is the blessing of the Lord, it maketh rich, and he addeth no sorrow with it. That I can be that person that is blessed of the Lord, is made rich, and there's no sorrow with it. It's just going from one blessing to another through the abundance of God, God's mercy and grace, His generosity in giving you freely all good things. So I'm going to put a link in the description to the book. I really encourage you to get it because it's going to be a blessing for you if you'll follow it. It'll be an absolute blessing for you and dramatically change your life in regards to finances. You can use this for any other thing too, but specifically in that regard to finances. It'll be a blessing for you, and it'll definitely minister grace to you. I pray this video is a blessing for you. May God bless you richly.